Hey, this is Matt once again. What about 10 videos that a paid request this time for Nate? Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for a film called The Visitants. And I just say this was a rough rot. What the fuck is rot? Fucking crotch rot. That's what the fuck this movie is. I was going to say it was a bad, tough watch. Now they were crotch rot and... Fuck. I did not like this film. I get it. Maybe some people can laugh at it. I know how that goes. I feel the same way about Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. Just I really liked Eric Freeman. I could maybe do that for Troll 2. Sometimes Samurai Cop. Sometimes he can, sometimes he can't. I couldn't with this. I was just so bored but annoyed. And it's a weird combination. You're annoyed but you're bored. I know it's a weird combination. It's from Rich Sloan, the guy who did Hobgoblins. And when I say Hobgoblins I'd rather watch than this, that's saying a lot. But Rich Sloan is considered one of the worst directors of all time. I'll put him above Neil Breen because he's not as annoying as Neil Breen. Because, number one, Rich Sloan, I just knew how to... Well, I can't say that because he made a lot of those Vice Academy movies. Those wannabe rip-offs of Police Academy. But I'd rather watch this than Neil Breen's films. I'll just leave it at that because that'd take another 20 minutes to explain Neil Breen films. But you get these two human-looking aliens. They come to Earth in 1956. They're supposed to be making a plan to scout the area. They contact the humans. They contact the other aliens via satellite dish. It's like they're trying to be fucking Coneheads before Coneheads. In a way. Come in, take time, blend in, research, get your message back to your leader for an invasion. Again, what Coneheads did years later in a better movie, this did. Only without the cones themselves. They just, two human looking, 30 years quickly go by, it's now 1986. And the two aliens are called Lubbock and Exeter. It's a woman and a man. The man looks like a bad, crappy version of Joe Pilato. Remember Joe Pilato, Rhodes, from the original Day of the Dead? I swear, you take a young Joe Pilato from Day of the Dead, it looks a lot like this guy. It's not him, but it looks like him. But Joe Pilato, may he rest in peace, was a much better actor compared to this guy. You get an awful synthesizer score. It's a movie that's trying very hard to be goofy on purpose, silly, winking at the camera on purpose, and that just becomes more annoying than anything. It's trying to be some type of love letter to the 1950s, because you have that bit at the beginning that takes place in the 50s. Then during the credits, it has this, tries to have this old animation, like 50s animation, with like someone eating a burger. A guy trying to warn a couple in a car that there's an invasion. I don't know, the animation's like, 40 seconds long, 50 seconds long. At times the music's trying to have that 50s feel. There's a point later on because there's a Halloween costume party that our two leads dress like 50s kids. I don't know how many people in the 80s, their costumes were, let's look like people from the 1950s. I guess people who really love Archie and wanted to be Archie. I just didn't know people that wanted to be fucking Archie or Jughead. Oh, I saw Jughead. It was fucking Corey from Halloween Ends. But anyway, the acting is absolutely garbage. Like our lead nerdy kid, I say nerdy, but he's like 35 years old looking and looks like he'd be on the cover of Teen Beat magazine or something. Well, not even Teen Beat, like Esquire magazine or something, and he's got a model of a molecule. He's going to the he's going to school. He puts it on, and the mom's like, "Are you planning to eat it? Then why is it on the kitchen table?" Or like none of the acting's good. Like the lead guy, I don't want to say kid, guy. He gets into the car with his girlfriend and his buddy and others, and the way the acting is, oh man, someone left the trash cans in the driveway. I'll get them. Jesus Christ. His girlfriend ain't much to talk about. His buddy tries so hard to be funny. I think he's the guy with a meteor shower thing for his science class. And he's just having a toy gun, shooting these little fake rocks. It's a meteor shower. And look, there's another one. And another one. The aliens, one, I kept, again, being distracted. They kept looking like Joe Pilato. And the other girl, the other lady, has, of course, a weird haircut and is dressed half naked half the time. And this is what I mean by it trying to be funny and hard to be funny. The nerdy guy lives next door to these two, and he keeps hearing the satellite dish and stuff making noise. At one point he goes in, and the aliens find him, and they give him a card, and he's looking at the card, and the card reads, They are TV repairmen. That's right. TV repairmen. They literally wrote, that's right. TV repairmen. Like, wow, this is really trying hard to be funny, and it's failing. It pretty much warned the guy, yeah, I know you know that we're aliens, but if you try to tell someone, we can look like anybody we want, and we'll disappear. And you don't want people to think you're crazy, do you? Now, they keep saying they can look like anybody, but they only do this like 2 times or 3 times. Seems like that's something they would do a lot more. And you see, like, maybe you get some suspense or that 50s type of paranoia if you don't know who to trust. If you have 2 aliens that can look like anybody. But again, they only do this like 2 or so times. It seems like it's something you could do a lot more. And just some weird choices, like when the kid runs out, and he's running, and the camera's on the ground, so the kid, jumps over the camera. But when he jumps over the camera, there's a sound that'll whee. It's not a guy going whee, it's like whoosh. That's pretty much it is. Like, imagine this is the camera, and the kid. How's it going? Okay, he's going towards camera, so he jumps to go towards. Why? I don't know. And there's a bit where the aliens are chasing the kid through an auditorium, and no one, not even the science teacher, do anything. And there's a bit where the kid, like, I keep saying kid, but it's like, the guy gets a knife and stabs to the alien's chest. No one's, and no one has a reaction, and the alien just takes it out. And then later on, his friends are like, so that was like a prank or something? Or some kind of thing? Yeah, sure it was, yeah. And idea is getting ready for a Halloween costume party. The lead guy's buddy goes in this frog masked thing that looks like a green garbage bag. Probably is a green garbage bag. And I get it. From what I understand, this costs like $8,000 to make. I'd rather you just not make the movie. Because then it would not exist and I wouldn't have had to watch and review it. So I'd rather you just not make the movie and not have it existed. To be perfectly honest. The parents are going to be out for a while. His buddy fucks him over and decides to have the party there at our lead kid's house. The lead guy and his girlfriend decide their costumes would be people from the 1950s type of Archie type of costumes. Because the director wants to do his ode to 1950s films. But it fucking blows. His buddy's annoying, trying to put this plastic ice cube with fake flies in them prank. The one moment that I got almost a chuckle out of is the two aliens arguing, and the guy tells the girl, "You're becoming an Earth bitch." That's the closest I got to a chuckle. And our two leads are on the run, and the rest of the movie becomes a chase movie. They tried to get into this movie theater that's showing this 3D alien movie. And they run into these weird people as if it's trying to be a version of After Hours, but it doesn't quite work. And then them and the buddy, and then ultimately the science teacher, they get onto the ship. And a lot of this is the aliens want their laser gun back that the lead took. And for a good chunk of it, the science teacher has been looking at it and testing it out. Now it's a toy. It's a toy gun. I mean, it's supposed to be a laser gun, but it's a toy you would get for 85 cents back to the day in the store. And you don't really see any amount of effects with it. By the end, they're on the ship. And on the ship, there's also some rubber-suited monster. For whatever reason. And the kids jump off. But it's pretty much, if I jumped off here, that's about as believable as this was. And they jump off, and there's an explosion sound. I guess the explosion sound was the ship taking off. Because the professor's still alive, because he's still able to talk to our lead via the TV satellite dish thing. And he says, "I'm learning all this stuff, and within your lifetime, since I'm telling you this stuff, you guys will achieve space travel." Now, we don't see the two aliens die. We don't see the two aliens stop. We don't see the two aliens caught, kidnapped. We don't know what happened to those two aliens. Are they dead? Are they captured? They get jettisoned out of the goddamn airlock? I don't fucking know. Instead, it cuts to new visitants arriving, looking at a for sale sign, turning to each other, almost getting in sync with each other, going back, like, in credits, to warn us of the worst threat ever. Visitants 2, The Lost Episodes. Please fucking no. I'm glad it never happened. And then in between the credits, the two leads are dancing to this wannabe 50s music. Like I said, this was hard to sit through. It was boring. It was annoying. It wasn't funny. It was cheap as fuck. Because it was made for cheap as fuck. You say there was some earnest give it try to it. To try and invoke a 50s kind of B-movie love letter to that time period. I mean, I'd rather watch this than Skinamarink. Because at least this stuff happened. And at least I would say this had more of a try than something like Skinamarink, where it's just a bunch of random shots of ceilings and floors and carpets and corners. This tried to be a movie, to be fair. It's just it wasn't a good movie. And you say, well, it's nothing to get mad at because it's trying to be silly and goofy. And it's trying to have that kind of tongue-in-cheek quality to it. But like I said, with the poor acting and the there's not much to look at in terms of visual style or effects or wit or humor. I mean, it's like someone's bad fan film. Okay, it's a fan film, but still a bad fan film. Like I said, I saw a guy's short film the other day, Eric, who did Serenade. That was much more better than what I saw here. You know, I've seen other low budget, micro budget films I enjoyed a lot more. Whether it be The Deadly Spawn or The First Evil Dead, right? They had a lot more budget compared to this. I mean, they have a huge budget compared to, but it's just, I still would rather just go watch those. Even with bad films, I mean, even if it's so bad it's funny. Like I didn't. You could find more perhaps to laugh at with Hobgoblins, with the goofy looking puppets and the silly dream sequences or fantasy sequences, I should say, not dream, but fantasy. This, I don't even know what there would be to laugh at. It's more just. It's one thing to be bad and you're being serious, and that makes it funnier. But when you try to be a bad comedy, that comes off as just more harder to sit through because they think what they're doing is funny, and you're sitting there going, "You're not pulling it off, man." It's like a stand-up comic bombing, and you're sitting there going, "Sorry, dude, just ain't working, man. Just ain't working." Maybe with a better script, better dialogue, better cast. I mean, it's not even like a B movie that you enjoy, like in stop motion or gore or crazy kill scenes, or some B movies aren't that great. You enjoy those superficial elements. Here, you don't really get much of that. So, and with the what the fuck, the slate. See, this movie's killing my brain cells. With the slate of movies out there, like you could watch this, or you could watch Kiloclones from Outer Space. You could watch this, or you could watch, Tremors. You could watch this, or you could watch. Why the fuck would you ever want to go and purposely watch something like The Visitants? Unless it's a request, and unless you just need to see every '80s film out there. It's not one of the worst movies ever because with the $8,000 budget, I get what they're trying to do. Sort of that, hey, let's make a movie, trying to have a gun ho attitude to it. And it still has that '80s look because it was made in the '80s, and whether called nostalgia, whether called whatever hell else you want to box you want to put it into. But I'm not going to give it a pass just because it was made in the '80s. There's a lot of bad movies today, and I love the '80s, but there's some bad movies in the '80s as well. And this is definitely a film I would never ever watch again. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.